ReefBum is sponsored by Bulk Reef Supply and Ecotech Marine.
Hopefully most people tuning in right now know that AI has become a flashpoint and a talking point in the news in the past couple months. You've probably seen it in social media in the last 6 months, where people are using generative AI image generators, for example, to create artwork and to create imagery that doesn't exist. And then ChatGPT has been the dominant hot topic as of late when it comes to generating content and interaction with an artificial intelligence. It's not a person responding to you, it's the computer. I think a lot of us have probably experienced maybe what I would call a precursor, like a lot of the automated chat support that's come up, where you're dealing with a chat bot first before you get to a real person. That kind of, putting that computer device and software in front of you to kind of see if it can direct you without involving a person. And then I think if I look at this, seeing something like ChatGPT, that's the natural progression. It's better technology. It can maybe do a better job, on and on and on. And so that's, I think what I want to say about all of that is that whether we're talking about an image generator or a chat or a text generator, it's only able to more or less give back what it knows. So whatever it was trained on and built on, that's what it has. So
I'm going to interrupt you for a second. So I think the major concern, right, is that these are free tools out there that anybody can pretty much gain access to, these AI generating type of tools. And so if anybody wants to start a blog or anybody wants to generate some pictures, what have you, they can use this, you'd call it a software tool or whatever, I don't know what you would call it, to generate a real article that looks factual, that somebody can access on the internet if they Google it. Find an article that is written by somebody that utilized AI, and the AI generates this content based on algorithms, I guess, that it crawls the internet to find.
Well, so it doesn't actually crawl the internet. It has a kind of a closed environment. It's a data set. I mean, they were built on crawls of the internet and the information that was gathered from the internet. But they are a little bit closed. Like, I can't ask an AI about a company that was just founded because it doesn't have access to the internet to go out and look and find and come back. But I think the perfect example is I created something about myself. Well, I'm on the internet. It has information about me, and it put something back, and it did it for you too. We can talk about that.
Should we show the pictures it generated for me?
Oh, sure. That's just a fun one. So let me see, which one are you going to show first?
You sent me 4 different. So
well, I sent you 8. But
you sent me 8. I'm only showing 4 of them. So basically, I think you entered my name and ReefBum, and it spit out a description: a middle-aged Caucasian man, slim build, long beard, wearing a baseball cap, who is named Keith Berkelhammer. He is starting into a large-scale reef aquarium full of corals and fish. Right, and
I meant to say staring, which is where the second one comes from.
And then these are 4 of the images that it generated of me. I mean, it looks like I got a split beard. First of all, I mean, I got this like long gray beard that could be a split beard for all I know, and I look like some biker dude that's just hanging in front of the. I mean, they actually look like pretty nice tanks, but there are some dead giveaways, like that one on the lower right-hand corner with that amazing, striking orange corals just sticking out. But if you look close enough, those corals don't really look real.
No, and the second one I sent you is a little better. I don't know if you have that one teed up too.
I don't. I don't.
Okay, well, so the second one was a slightly different set of input and more modern. So this is Midjourney is the software, the AI, and these are basically composite images of a bunch of different things, and it creates these exact pictures don't exist. These exact people don't exist, at least to the best of our knowledge, and how these softwares work. They shouldn't exist.
So that's supposed to be me.
Well, that's what I put in, and it doesn't know who you are. It does know, like,
but it's weird because there are images of me on the internet. You would think it would grab that.
Well, but it's in whatever data set that this was built off of, and it's actually to not to get into the weeds, but like Midjourney and the data set that it uses are being sued right now for copyright infringement because there's claims that these images weren't legally procured and used for the purposes they're used for. U.S. Copyright Office has said you can't copyright protect any AI generated images or artwork. So this is all like a legal gray area right now.
Gotcha.
But anyone can play with it, and you can do stuff with that. It's like, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I interrupted. Go ahead, keep going.
No, I was just gonna say, like, where this leads to. Like, these are dead giveaways now. I'm just gonna throw out a prediction. 2 years from now, you're not gonna be able to tell. That's my guess. Another couple of years, if people are allowed to pursue this further, the flaws that we see now, unless they're retained specifically for the purposes of letting people know it's not legit, they're going to be indistinguishable. Yeah. At which point the whole phrase of fake news has a whole new meaning.
Here's an example of what you can do, right? So, Matt, I said, hey, can you put in like Green Valley Slimer and see what it spits out? Green Valley Slimer. And this is the 4 different images that it spit out of the Green Valley Slimer. It looks absolutely nothing. It got the green part right, but it looks absolutely nothing like a Green Valley Slimer. And here's an actual Green Valley Slimer. This used to be in one of my tanks. It's staghorn. It's a branching coral, and the AI Green Valley Slimer came back looking like this, which was bizarre. Is that even, are those even like real corals? I don't think those are real corals.
Oh, no, they're artistically generated renditions of what a coral might look like. Although I think, do you have teed up the foxes?
Yes, I do.
Yes. So one of the things I've noticed playing around with the image generator, since that's what we're talking about, is that there are certain things it simply understands better than others. So like it doesn't really know what a Green Valley Slimer is. But it picked up on green and coral, and it put that together and created some green corals, which, some of those are really interesting. Like, I think some of those we'd love to have in our tanks, right?
For sure.
Like that one on the bottom left, that really any of these I'd like to have, but none of them exist. They're not real. But that's not always going to be the case. But okay, so here's the foxes. I fooled a lot of my friends when I posted that fox image. And it understands what a fox is supposed to look like. And there was, I've been putting the prompts with these images, like, because if you change a couple sayings or words, you're going to get something different. And every time you run it, you're going to get something different. But yeah, these fox pictures, some of my friends were like, wow, those are great photos.
Great shot.
Like, yeah, I didn't make any of those. I didn't, no, that was the point. Like, those pictures of the men, if I didn't know what you actually look like and someone put that picture out and said, this is Keith Berkelheimer. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
And we move on.
Yeah. Right. You don't know.
And
you don't know.
Yeah. And so when it comes to images, I mean, we should not really be surprised when we think about all the CGI artwork and movies that we watch, like Avatar. You can fully embrace that as being real. I mean, the lines of reality are really being blurred at this point. So
Try this, Matt. Can you put in what is the best way to eliminate cyanobacteria? Let's see what happens when it.
So we want to do some text.
Let's see what happens there, and then you can read it back to us. I'm curious what's going to pop up in that one.
I wonder if I can put it in chat. if it's
Oh yeah, you could.
Bacteria. Let me see here. So I'm going to do playground first, just because it generally gives short answers. Reduce. Oh, yes, this is definitely advice that no one should follow ever. Oh, this is bad.
Put it in the chat, man.
But the thing is, I will. Let me see here. I gotta change windows here. Let's see if I can
treat cyanobacteria.
I'm over. I'm gonna have to do it in two segments.
Okay.
Segments here. Let's see. Okay, so there's part 1, and there's part 2. So that was out of OpenAI's
copper
playground.
Sulfate,
and I love. Yeah, that was like the holy hell. So and the question I asked it is, what is the best way to eliminate cyanobacteria? Now, I probably have to refresh. Let's try Bard next. Bard just was released recently. Let's see. And these other two tend to give longer responses, and they tend to be a little better.
More credible.
Yeah, I can't paste all that in. Yeah, and that's kind of part of the problem, because I can tell you none of these softwares have ever kept an aquarium. Maybe that's the number one thing I should just say. None of these sources of information have ever put their hand in an aquarium ever, and that right off the bat should be reason for suspicion and skepticism. So Bard tells me physical removal. I'm just glossing over chemical treatment, UV light. So let's irradiate our tanks with UV light. Diet changes.
Okay.
I don't really know what that means. Water changes, improved filtration, and reduced light. And I don't think that's going to help in a reef tank if your corals need the light. So, yeah. So, I think I can try to paste this in here, but I don't think I need to. Let's try ChatGPT with the same question. Now it's actually rendering it out right now. This is kind of fun to play with.
All right, here's a real technical question for AI, and it's one that you you said you were talking about with Rich Ross. Is UVB important to coral health?
Yes, and so we had those earlier ones, and yeah, it just was mind blowing. Some of the responses that we would get, and if you read them, they sound credible.
Right. So somebody that has is pretty well a beginner in this hobby that wants to create a blog, a saltwater aquarium blog, can use these tools. I talked about this before, to generate that seemingly credible articles in a matter of minutes. That could be 500, 600, 700, 800 words. I mean, I blog, and it's darn tough, to kind of come up with a topic, write about it, edit it, fact check it, and all that stuff. But with these tools, a couple minutes, you're good to go.